quick walk around of the exterior. Starting on the passenger side, you have an awning on this side that'll be able to pull out, as well as a 360 camera facing this direction to the passenger side. We also have a camera facing to the front side, the rear, and the driver's side, giving you 360 camera internal viewing as well as remote viewing that'll show you inside. This also has lights that we call our side lights. So this would be passenger. We also have rear facing lights. And on the roof, we have solar along with your rooftop air conditioners and air vents. When we go over here to the driver's side, on the driver's side, we have this hatch. Within this hatch, you have a 30 amp hookup, you have a Shure selector between the two, and then you have 15. You use this selector to select which power you want to use. So this is your 15 amp Shure, and this is your 30 amp Shure. If you want to use 15 amp, you just turn the selector towards it, and it'll select this power. You do the opposite this direction, and it selects this. You can keep it on 0 when you're not. This here is a solar plug for ground solar in case you want additional solar power. On the driver's side here, below, you have this, and this is your exhaust for your S-bar heater. This is what you'll use when in cold environments. You have the controller inside the vehicle, and I'll show you how to operate that here in a minute. All right, so now we're inside the van. I'm going to take you through just functionality starting from the front of the vehicle to the back to kind of show you how features work. So in the front area, we just have storage here that gives you the ability of having just additional storage space for things. You have 2 drawers, which all you have to do is you have to just lift this lock and you have to push and pull out. So whenever you push it, you're going to hear it click, and you got to be able to push it back out. When you're going down the road, you want to lock it in play, because if you go down around a corner, this releases, it pops out. This is your fridge. You got to release it with your yellow tab. Release it, pull your fridge out. What you have to do, you have 2 sides to select from. So 2 individual compartments. Now, with the controlling of this fridge, you can select being freezer and fridge, fridge, or all freezer. The choice is really yours from the keypad on the end that gives you functionality. This is removable, and it is just plugged in up here. So you can take this out if you want, and you can take this inside, take it into a different place, location, and this gives you the ability of having freezer or fridge wherever you want it. Slide that back in and out of the way. As we work towards the back, foot controlled trash can gives you just the ability of obviously holding your trash. Down here, as I mentioned outside, this is your output for your S-bar heater. So this is going to give heat when you need it, and that there is controlled up here by your controls. So this is your heater, and you're going to be able to walk through it, and I'll show you that whenever we walk and look at the different functionalities. Above, down both sides of the vehicle, you have overhead storage. These doors open, and you pull them open, and you have some lighting inside to be able to see. These are also lockable, so that you can lock these to have compartments to protect your stuff from others. And you have the same doors down both sides. Above, right now, above you, is a air vent. So this is a 10-speed air vent, and you can just select the controls, and you can see them here. It allows you to power up, and it's just going to automatically open, and you can set this to be able to pull air in and or push air out. And all you got to do is hit off, and it automatically closes. And once it closes, I will tell you, just give it a little bit of a tighter squeeze, and it just sucks it tight. Now, towards the back, we have what's called a lagoon table. So this is more for being able to use it here. So this has a couple different mechanisms which allow you to release, and you can do this by just releasing this top, and then you just take it, and you got to wiggle it a little bit, maybe release it just a little bit more. Let's release it just a touch more here. There we go. And here it goes. So it pops off, and you can take this and you can store it away somewhere else if you'd like, so that you have open seating. Then you just push this right back on. There we go. What you can do is you can push it back, pull it forward. You can spin this around a little bit here. It gives you a little bit more control. So there is that. Your swivel seats. You have dual leather swivel seats, and I'll show you more on this one. But you have, if you flap up the front, you have this lever here, and this allows you to move the seat forward and backwards. So you can see how I can move it forward and backwards. It allows you to go forward and backwards with the seat. On the side, you have the same thing, and you have a handle here. This handle allows you to, there you go, push it backwards, and allows you to swivel the seat. I was leaning on it, and it wasn't really letting it come apart. Then you have a side lever, which allows you to lean the seat forward and backwards. And then obviously you have armrest to be able to sit. So you can sit here, and you'll be able to sit in the two seats. Your storage on the side have locks here that allow you so they don't vibrate. Now these are just chest storage. You're able to fill this full of stuff, shut this down, and then turn your knob and lock this tight. So that is now locked tight for you to be able, and that's for sitting, laying, whatever you might need that for. And then here next to us is a screen for viewing for the patient and a screen for the front clinician. So what you can do is you can pull this screen out, and it allows you to actually angle towards the rear seat. And then you can take this seat, and the clinician can use this for theirs. So if I'm sitting here and I'm a student, I'm a child, whatever I am, I can be utilizing the screen for, you have a webcam with speaker and microphone to be able to do one-on-one visits. You can be playing a video game through this with an HDMI and any sort of device. And your clinician is able to sit up there and be looking at what they need on their own screen. So we're private here, we're private there, but we have line of sight between each other. And so I think that is the functionality of kind of like a lot of the different features. One final note is that throughout the whole build, you have T-Track to attach attachments to, so you can lock things in, move things around, shift things. And that gives you the ability of attaching things to the rear doors, to the overheads, wherever you might be, you're able to have those features. So this is your controlling system for your full power system. What this gives us is it gives us ability of controlling your lights, your settings, monitoring your batteries, and voltage. What we set up is this is considered the favorites page. So if I hit the three down arrow, or the three little dashes, if I hit favorites, it takes us to this page. What we have on here is we have day mode, in session, packing mode, all off with the inverter on. So if we just go through it here, if I click off, it's gonna turn everything off minus the inverter. That means outlets, 110 outlets are still gonna work. So you still have battery draw, and you still have other things pulling the batteries possibly down, but everything else is off. If I click this, it's gonna bring everything back online. What this gives us the ability of is controlling. So whenever we start looking at different settings and things like that, if I click day mode, it is one button click. It turns dome lights on, accent lights on. It turns on your devices like this, and also your cradle point and other pieces of equipment. What it does do is it just makes it a one button setup. Session dims the lights a little bit, makes it feel a little better about the interactions of what you're going to be doing with different people, students, adults, children inside this vehicle. If you go to packing mode, this is if you're somewhere at night and during the day and you want it bright inside and outside. Remember, you have passenger side lights and rear lights. This button will actually turn those on. So if you click this, again, it's going to make it very bright in here. It's also going to make it bright outside. You want to be careful turning this on in neighborhoods and other things like that, because you don't want to be blinding people outside. So it's important that whenever you're done, you turn the system off and down. Again, your inverter will be staying on. We can go in and you can turn off the inverter by going to a separate screen and actually completely killing the system. So let's turn day mode back on. This over here is going to give you a few different things to look at. The first button here is just your vehicle voltage, and it's giving you basically what the vehicle is at. And then this is showing right now that you are charging at 46 amps 46 amps on the screen, and you're doing that twice. Then you have your 3 batteries here in the rear where you'll be able to click on them and it's going to tell you state of charge. Now we let this thing die, and so right now it's actually charging back, and it's going to be able to build battery power back up. If we swipe over, you have passenger side light bar, rear light bar, and all exterior. Those are the switches and the buttons to be able to control all your exterior lighting. Now when you plug into shore power, you can click this button here and it's going to tell you. A big thing is if you are getting power, this will be able to tell you if you're actually getting shore power in. So when you're done at the end of the night and you want this system to charge, if you go to here and you click this button, what it gives you is it gives you a readout, and it's going to be able to tell you, hey, I'm getting power in, I'm getting current in. So it's very important before you're done for the night and you plug it in to charge, you verify here that you're charging. What you can also do is you can go back here and you can look, and it says to charge right under this battery. When it says to charge, that means that power is going into the batteries. So that's just a very good telltale sign to show you what's happening with your power system. Now, if you can dive a little deeper and you can go into controls, it separates everything that's controlling all out separately. So if you want to control something on its own, you can go in here and you can actually play around. The next thing you can do is you can go into monitoring. This gives you kind of all the different things that allows you to be able to look at really what's going on. Typically, these screens are not necessary because all you need to know are these 4 buttons and if your batteries are charging or depleting. These are the 2 things that are most important through these screens. Now, at the driver of the vehicle and the rear, you have 6 button keypads. These keypads have the same button set up. So you have day mode, session, packing, all dome, passenger light bar, rear light bar. On these, this gives you the ability of being able to turn everything on and off. Now, if you do a long press hold power, what this does is it turns everything off like the total kill on the screen. To wake it back up, just tap the button, it lights everything back up. And if I want day mode and or session, this allows you to be able to turn on what you're looking for. Here, this is your 110 breakers. So this is your distribution for your 110 power. A good telltale sign if you have power is if you look down here, this green light shows you that your inverter is on and that you're distributing power. Also, anywhere that you see an outlet, you're going to see a light lit up, and that's going to tell you that you have power, 110 power that is. As we go down here to the batteries, you have battery safeties. So these yellow buttons are what are considered battery safeties. And if you look at them, you can see that they're pressed in. That means that the battery is connected and that you have power flowing either in or out of the battery. If you let the batteries get too low or you allow some other things to take place, these batteries will actually open relays and they will not stay connected. That's why it's important that at the end of your night, end of your day, you charge up the vehicle and make sure it's ready for the next morning. So this is a master switch. So this currently is set to on. This disconnects your batteries from your power system if you're wanting to make it a simple process to be able to disconnect batteries for whatever reason and to be able to not deplete them if you're running your vehicle. This also here is a jump start relay. You can click this and hold it. If your car battery dies and your batteries are connected, you can hold this and it's going to take power from the batteries in this box and it's going to push it forward to the vehicle and jump start your vehicle. Up here on the seat, this is another switch. This switch disconnects your power system in the rear to the factory car. If you disconnect this and you close this switch, open it, So you separate the two, your vehicle will not charge your car battery or your back battery, excuse me. So if you're idling and running the vehicle, you will not get charged from here back to your system while you're idling. And it's important that you keep this green so you have that connection. Okay, so you're at the end of the day and you've been using the vehicle and you do not have the ability of plugging the vehicle into shore power to charge the back batteries. My suggestion to you is at the front of the vehicle, you want to turn the vehicle off. You want to pull the key out. Whenever we do that, we are turning off the power supply from the front of the vehicle to the back of the vehicle. So with the vehicle off, the next step is to come to the rear of the vehicle. And what you want to do is you want to turn off and disconnect the batteries from the power system. Now, if you notice, everything just went black. What we did was we just isolated the batteries from the rest of the system. These two steps allow you to make it an easy process to turn the vehicle off at the end of the day and then start the vehicle. So you want to start the vehicle in the morning. Step one, turn the switch back on. And so now with it back on, you're going to see things light up. You're going to see things start to flash. Screens are going to come online. Inverter is going to kick back on. Everything is going to reboot. Step two, go back to the vehicle and start the vehicle second. The reason you want to start the vehicle second is because when the vehicle starts, it's going to supply some power to some of the devices. What you don't want to do is you don't want to pull too much from them because it might put them in a standby mode. It might put them in a different situation, and you don't want to do that. So whenever you start the vehicle in the morning, turn the kill switch on the box, and then start the vehicle. At the end of the day, turn the vehicle off first, and then turn the switch off. You want to do the reverse so that you are concealing the power in the batteries, and so you don't come in the next morning with the vehicle dead, the back batteries have no power, and you need to function for a full day. This is if you're not plugging in the vehicle at night to shore power on the side of the vehicle. If you are plugging in shore power, you don't need to worry about disconnecting the batteries, and actually you want to keep them connected because it allows them to charge off of shore power. So two options to be able to make it easy functioning for this vehicle for your use. So this is your monitoring screen for your 360 camera system that's exterior of the vehicle. Now, if you turn on any of these modes, day mode, in session, this will automatically be on. So right now you're in a view of being able to see all four screens. All you have to do zoom into one is click one screen and it opens it up. Take two fingers and we're going to zoom in on this guy. I'm going to tap it and it zooms on in. Tap again, it exits. Tap outside the screen, you're good. In the bottom right hand corner, there is a speaker. If you click this, you can actually turn up. All four cameras on the exterior all have speakers built in. And so you can listen to what's happening outside. Click back out, and it gives you that screen array again. You can click into this and click low, and you can go into different layouts, and you can choose the different layouts that you would like to set up. But typically, kind of based on what you're doing, a lot of times you just want one side, one other side. So you can just get back to the screen and go to the screen that you prefer. So this is the controller for your S-Bar heater, and this is going to supply you heat from a gas-powered heater that comes off of the factory fuel tank. Remember, you need to operate it above a quarter tank of fuel. If not, it will run out, and it will show different codes here. Very simple operation. You click power, and whenever you see heater enabled, you will see green light. You can turn up the temperature and or down the temperature there, and a clock timer has started for 10 hours. Now, you want to turn this up or down, and it'll start operating. If you get a code and or it says disabled, you might need to cycle it again in case maybe it ran below a quarter tank and sucked some air in the line and or had something different. I believe that is code 52. And if it shows that, you just need to cycle it a few times. To turn it off, you simply click stop, and it stops. It will continue to run for a little bit to get the heat off of the exchanger while it just cools down, and then it will actually shut down. Above us is your air conditioning for the rear. You do have factory air conditioning in the front cabin, but in the rear, we installed 2 overhead air conditioners that are identical to each other. They are very simple fashion. You have to control them from here. You will see the screen light up. You set the thermostat to whichever setting you would prefer, and then you can just turn them back down. You start to hear the fan spool, and you can direct air at the 2. You can also turn down the fan so it's quieter while you're in here for your session.